This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. This is a quick lesson around how to read and write data to Notepads. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create two Notepads, add those Notepads to my project here, programming lesson. Okay, so after that, in one file, we will put some content into one of the Notepads, and we will then write code to read the content to the screen. And in another notepad, the same content we have in the other one, we will read from it and write it to another notepad. Let's go ahead with that. I have three projects here, but we will be using the one in the middle, called programming lesson. Obviously, if you are going to do the same thing, all you have to do is to create a new project yourself in Visual Studio so that you can practice it. If you do right click on add, click on class, and up here I'm going to filter my search to text. Then I have here text file. I'm going to call this one write to a file. Okay, and I have that file created now. I'm going to create another text file. Right click on add, click on class, filter your search again to text, click on text file, and this name is going to be read from a file. Okay, now that we have created these two, we need to do two things. Each time you add a new file to your project, being XML file, JSON file, text file, okay, you need to change the properties of that file, because by default, the property of a file is going to be in do not copy form. So to achieve that, what you have to do is click on this file, right click, then click on properties. As you can see at the moment, it says copy to output directory, content do not copy. There is a drop down arrow, click here, and then click on this down arrow, then click on copy if newer. Select on copy if newer. After that, do the same thing for the second file, write to a file. Okay, click on this down arrow and click on copy if newer. After doing this one now, the next thing you have to do is to rebuild your solution, because at the moment, newly created files, they won't be in a bin folder. What do I mean? Just to prove that, if you right click on this project, click on open folder in File Explorer. Here in the folder Explorer for this project, we can clearly see those files, write to a file, and the other one which is read from a file. But if you come to bin folder, double click here, click on debug, you can see the only thing we have here is this. Now what is going to happen is, let's try to rebuild our solution. Come to solution, right click, then click on rebuild. Okay, let's wait for that. Here it says rebuild succeeded. Then click again, open that project again. Now you can clearly see those two files, they get copied over from here, okay, to bin, debug, then here. So that means it is now ready to be used. Now, the next thing we are going to do is, the one we have one of the files which is read from a file, we need to put some content, okay? You need to get some content and put it in there. So I have few content here already, lorem ipsum. So I'll just copy this content, copy, and I can close it. So if I paste the content, or I can actually choose to put the content. Yeah, let's put it from here. We can probably, just to make it readable, press enter, enter, enter. So we can see everything in one screen, okay? Now this is everything, and click on save all. We've saved, but try to notice what I did. I only put this content in read from a file. I didn't put anything to write to a file. Close it. Okay. Now the next thing we have to do is to write our code. So to read this content, we just need to write one line of code. I will put I will put a comment line and say read from a file. Then the line of code you need is console dot write line. Okay, because we would like to write whatever the content, whatever it is in the file to console. So call a class file. This class, sometimes by default, if you are using it for the first time, you won't have it, but it belongs to using system IO. What I'm saying is, if I scroll up, for example, okay, let's assume I delete this one now, okay, and come back here. I come back to the file. Okay, you can see it says it couldn't resolve this file because it has not been referenced at the top, and you can clearly see one yellow bulb. If you click on this down arrow, it tells us that if you want it to be resolved, you need to select using our system.io, okay, input output. Double click on that, it will add it for you automatically at the top. So after that, backspace and do dot again, then use this method, read all text, okay? And this one, what it takes is, it will take from you a text file, I mean the name of the file. And we know the name of the file we would like to read from already. This is the file name. So you can actually copy the file name, right click, click on rename, then copy, okay? Then come back here within this open and close curly brackets, put @ and put double quotes. In between double quotes, paste the file name, and you need one more close bracket. Okay, and with this one now, if I execute, you need to put file extension. That is very, very important. If you don't, you won't be able to read from the file. So the file extension is .txt. Okay, now we are good to read, as in we are ready to read from it. So let's try to rebuild, or you can build or rebuild, it's fine. Now that I've built my solution again, come to debug, then click on start without debugging. Now this is the result. You can see we've successfully read the content from this file name, from read from it file.txt. This is the content we have in it, and we have successfully read the content into the console. Okay, that is for reading from a text file. And the next one is around writing to a text file. Remember, we have two files, which at the moment, the second one, which is this one, okay, is blank. There is nothing there. And even this one, if you click on it, you still have the content there. You can read that data many times. It doesn't have to be once. It depends on what your scenario is. Okay. So now the next one is to write to a file. I will it's still one line of code that you need. Write to a file. To write to that file, I will use that file class again. Do file dot write all text. Okay. Our plan is actually to write the content that we have here. Remember, we have some content here already. So we are just planning to write or to get that content from this file and then write it to the second file. Okay, and this write all text, it takes the file you would like to write to. Okay, the file name you would like to write to. So the file name we would like to write to is called write to a file. Okay, you can always copy the file name so that you don't make a mistake. Okay, with the file name .txt, and then put comma here, and where we are reading from, already we have this code which is helping us to read the content. Just copy it and paste it here. Okay, this is what you need to write to that file. Now, since we have already executed this one, I'm going to comment it out because that is not what we need at the moment. And then let's make sure we have everything that we need to write. Okay, I mean, we have the file name well spelled, and we also have the second file we would like to read from. Now, if I do build and then come to debug, start without debugging. Okay, so what we just have is this press any key to continue, because I will expect the content to have been copied from read from a file and get it written to write to a file. Just press any key to continue and then come and check write to a file. Or write to a file, I think we need to check it from the directory. Let's try to check it. This is write to a file. See, we have successfully written data to write to a file. And of course, if you come here now and, for example, let's say I will leave this as it is. I will just copy it, comment it out temporarily, and then do something. If you change this one to, for example, hello world. So let's see what happened. Okay, so come to debug, start without debugging. Okay, you have this one and press any key to continue. So after that, come back to this directory. I would expect the content to have been changed to hello world. It tells us that anything you have within this, after you have specified the file name you would like to write to, the second parameter you have here actually determine what you are writing. Okay, so I'll comment this out and uncomment this one, because our objective is actually to read content from this file and write it to this file. So let's try it again before the end of this. Start without debugging and then press any key. Okay, and then come back to the directory. If you still want to know how to get to the directory, just come again here, right click on the project and click on open folder in file explorer. Okay, then this is write to a file. Double click on not this one. Okay, you need to come to bin. Okay, come to debug. Then this is the file you are looking for. It has the content in it now. That is the end of this two tasks. Okay, thank you.